Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back here to another weather forecast. My name is Andrew Heischman. Now, for today, we got ourselves a lot to talk about here. First of all, we have that lake effect snow threat that's still ongoing, set to drive several feet of snow across the Great Lakes region. We have a lot of cold air that's driving its way down into the country, going to get very, very cold. I mean, we've already been seeing temperatures in the negatives up north, which is just crazy. And then lastly, we do have a clipper system that we're watching that could drive some snow through the Midwest, possibly portions of the Ohio Valley, like Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, West Virginia, might be seeing a little bit of snow. Now, before we go ahead and get on into it, my friends, if you have not already, hit that subscribe button. We're on our way to 30,000 subscribers. Make sure you guys watch this all the way through. That way you guys can get updated with everything that's going on. And alrighty, my friends, well, let's go ahead and jump on into it. Alrighty, everybody, so we're taking a look here at the radar regarding what is actively going on here across the country. We have been seeing a lot of heavy snow squalls, a lot of really strong snow bands that's been working its way throughout the Great Lakes region here. As of now, you can actually see there's a lot of snow showers early this afternoon across areas of Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, even West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York State, and you can really see where we have some of those heavy bands. Now, these can really reduce visibility, making it very difficult to see, especially while driving. Make sure that you are extra cautious while you're traveling today. I know a lot of people are coming home from Thanksgiving and stuff like that, so please be extra careful. Not only does it reduce visibility, but it also can allow for the roads to deteriorate very, very quickly, causing those roadways to get very, very nasty. So that is actively going on right now with a lot of snow. Now, in the south, we have a little bit of rain kicking off here, kind of what's left of this cold front that's rolled through, yesterday with that system that brought a little bit of severe weather. Today, no severe weather is expected, though. A little bit of thunderstorm activity possible across central Florida today. Now, with that being said, there's actually a risk for some thunder snow today up in northeastern Ohio, northwestern portions of Pennsylvania, and like a very small sliver here of western New York State out there by like Jamestown, Cherry Creek, Dunkirk area could possibly get a little bit of thunder snow. There's also another area up here out there by Watertown and Adams. This is where most of the snowfall is going to take place, as we're getting ready to see here on the accumulations here in a few minutes. We're going to see several feet of snow out here in general. Now, across the west, it is relatively quiet. Really not a whole lot going on. A little bit of rain could work its way into like southern California. Really not a lot of anything going on, but that is what we are currently dealing with. Alrighty, everybody, so we're hopping our way over here into the NAM 3-kilometer model here, taking a look at what we can expect here down in time. Now, really, there's not going to be a lot of changes. That lake effect snow up in the north is going to be just consistent for the next several days. But the thing I really do want to talk about timing with is this clipper system. Now, as you probably can already see, we have a bit of clouds that start to pick up here for basically tonight, this evening. And basically by early tomorrow morning, we could start to get the beginning of that clipper system developing, kind of right around sunrise or so, out there towards, like the Central Plains, towards Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri. So by the time we approach our way here for basically right around noon tomorrow, that storm should be out there kind of for the north central side of Missouri. Could be snowing out there near St. Louis, Kansas City area, also working its way into like southern Illinois. Once we approach our way kind of for the evening, it should be kind of rolling its way out of Missouri, but still snowing for areas like Illinois, Indiana, and maybe a little bit of Kentucky starting to get it at this point. And then, of course, as we approach our way right around midnight or so, that storm should be pulling out of Illinois, pulling out of Indiana, and snowing for areas like southern Ohio, like eastern, northern portions of Kentucky, bits of West Virginia, maybe out there, maybe a little bit of like western Virginia towards the Appalachian Plateau, before all of that moisture just kind of gets cut off here as that kind of rolls its way over into the mountains here. So that is basically the timing, and there might even be another little bit of snowfall to follow after that for basically the morning of the 1st up here in the northern plains at least. So that's basically what we got going on regarding the timing, but as you can see throughout the entirety of the timing here, there is no changes with that lake effect snow. It's just going to be very consistent for days to come. The pattern that we're actually in right now is going to allow for the possibility for a lot of snow in the Great Lakes region within the next week or so. I would honestly not be surprised if you guys up there in the Great Lakes, possibly the Northeast, could see a lot of snow here in the near future. Now, speaking of heavy snow, my friends, we are taking a look here at the overall accumulations here expected from the National Weather Service. Now, I do want to tell you this is going to be a ridiculous amount of snow for some of these regions here. I mean, we're talking some regions getting up 50-plus inches. We'll get to that here in a minute. But first, I want to talk about basically this clipper system and kind of what we can expect here with that system overall. Now, when we were first tracking this system a few days ago, we were just seeing that there might be a possibility for a couple 10-7 inch and whatnot. honestly, we are going to be talking possibly a few inches in some of these areas here. Now, Kansas City will probably remain under an inch for the most part. However, areas out by like St. Louis might be lucky enough to pull a couple of inches. Now, obviously, this is no big snow or anything like that, but it will be a little bit of a taste of winter before winter here. So you guys will be seeing the possibility here, like I said, tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon of possibly seeing a bit of snow. A couple of inches cannot be ruled out. And, out there by Columbia, Missouri, that's kind of roughly where the heaviest of the snow is expected. Would not be surprised in a worst case scenario we could see over 3 inches, but honestly we're going to be mostly sticking around between 1 and 2. Now for southern Illinois out there by like Mount Vernon area, we're going to see possibly an inch, maybe 2 in some local areas here. This does work its way through Indiana, through Kentucky. So for a lot of northern Kentucky and eastern Kentucky as well as southern Indiana here and a little portion of like southern Ohio near like Cincinnati, actually more east of Cincinnati, could actually pick up about an inch or so. So really not a lot of snow for these areas here, but it is enough to allow for a bit. Now here's the thing. Out here towards those upper elevations, remember how that snow kind of ended over the mountains here? We could get quite a bit within the next 72-hour period. Out here, we're talking possibly a good maybe 3 to 5 inches locally, possibly up near 6. Could be a possibility. So some of those upper elevations here in West Virginia near like Richwood, Elkins could see a pretty good amount of snowfall. For the other people out here, possibly just more around a couple of inches and so forth. The Appalachian Plateau of Virginia, possibly an inch, maybe a little bit more in some spots. There might be a little bit of snow for areas like the far upper mountains of North Carolina and the far eastern side of Tennessee, where a couple tenths of an inch could be possible. Some areas up to about a half an inch or so. Now, here's where it gets pretty darn wild. So we're going to start over here towards Michigan and the upper section. So where you see yellow here, this is basically where we could be dealing with a foot or near a foot in general. Now, there's a few little spots that you're going to see here that's in pink. Now, these regions not only could be seen about a foot, but maybe more towards 2 feet across these areas here in pink in general. There is going to be a heck of a lot of snow out in some of these regions here overall. Now, out there towards the main state of Michigan, for the western side, out there near Kalamazoo, we honestly could be getting a decent amount of snowfall, possibly right around 4 to 8 inches with locally higher amounts, being a good possibility. Now, it's really for the northern portions here in Michigan that could really pick up a good amount. They've already been seeing a bit of snowfall. You got to remember that. We've already been snowing throughout today and since basically last night. Overall, we are still expecting well over a foot of snowfall for these regions here in general. Now, here's where it gets pretty wild, even more wild, actually. So Cleveland has actually increased in their snow probability. We are now expecting nearly a foot for like central Cleveland. The southern sides could pick up maybe about a half a foot or so. It's really once you get up into the northeastern side here of Ohio where these totals really start picking up towards like Fairport Harbor, North Madison, Ashtabula, in some of those regions out there. Also for like northwestern Pennsylvania out there by Erie, we could be seeing over 2 feet towards northeast. But here's where it gets even wilder. Out here towards like the northern side of New York State and the western side of New York State, for the western side, we could be talking possibly near 3 feet in some areas out there. Basically just west of Springville towards like the Dunkirk area, Mayville area. For you guys out there by, like Rochester, maybe a couple of inches, really not a whole lot for y'all, but by far the most amount of snowfall that we are expecting out of this system is going to be out there towards the regions of Watertown and Adams, where we could be breaching over possibly 50 inches of snow. Now, this is expected accumulation. This is not worst case scenario, which a worst case scenario would be basically about a 1 in 10 shot. This right here is the expected amount, and we're going to be seeing possibly upwards of 50 or more inches. That's not including what we've already seen here so far. So keep that in mind. So there's definitely going to be a lot of snowfall for these regions out here. And honestly, this is just for the next 72 hours worth. The way that the pattern is, I was looking at models earlier, kind of suggests the fact that we're going to be seeing ourselves a really pretty strong pattern like this for the next possibly not 1, but maybe 2 weeks or so. We'll continue monitoring it, but honestly, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you live out there by the Great Lakes in the Northeast, I would not be surprised within the next couple of weeks for early December. You guys get a lot of snow out there. But alrighty, everybody. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you did enjoy it, consider leaving a like, hitting that subscribe button. We're on our way to 30,000 subscribers. If y'all could help us out, it'd be greatly appreciated. And most importantly, if you guys could share this video as well, help spread it to your friends, your family, your neighbors, your coworkers, anybody you can, just to help keep people weather aware in general. But alrighty, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining. You guys take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving and enjoy your weekend, my friends. We'll catch y'all later on. Peace out, my friends. See you later on.